Welcome to my channel. Today, let's delve into the fantastic world of orchids. Orchids are a large and diverse family of flowering plants, Orchidaceae, known for their striking and often fragrant flowers. They are one of the largest families of plants with over 28,000 species, and they can be found in a wide variety of habitats around the world, from tropical rainforests to temperate regions. They have three sepals and three petals, with one petal often larger and more distinct called the lip. This lip often serves as a landing platform for pollinators. Orchids are often epiphytic, meaning they grow on trees and other plants with roots exposed to air. Aerial roots of orchids are able to absorb atmospheric water, that is from rain, mist, dew, and to conduct it to the root interior. The water is absorbed by imbibition into a biological porous material, the velamen radicum, which envelops the aerial root and comprises of one or two to several layers. Some orchids are terrestrial. They grow in the ground. Some orchids are lithophytic. They grow on rocks. Some orchids have swollen stems known as pseudobulbs. They store water and nutrients to help the plant survive in tough conditions. Orchids rely heavily on insect pollinators like bees, moths, and butterflies. Their complex flowers are often specially adapted to attract a particular type of pollinator. The bee orchid gets its name from its main pollinator, a species of bee. To attract the bees that will pollinate the plant, it has flowers that mimic their appearance. Drawing them in with the promise of love, the bees attempt a mating. Once pollinated, orchids produce tiny, dust like seeds. Since these seeds contain no food store, they rely on fungi to germinate, which they parasitize to obtain nutrients for energy. One orchid seed pod can contain up to 3 million seeds, and they are dispersed by wind. Coming to types of orchids, Phalaenopsis is among the most popular orchids for home cultivation due to their long lasting flowers and ease of care. Dendrobium is a diverse genus with many species that are widely grown and appreciated for their flowers. Cattleya orchids are known for their large, fragrant blooms and often used in corsages. Vanda orchids are valued for their striking flowers. These orchids often grow in warm, tropical climates. Cymbidium orchids produce long-lasting, colorful flowers and are popular in floral arrangements. Orchids are most diverse and abundant in tropical regions, particularly in Southeast Asia and South America. Most orchids prefer bright, indirect light. Direct sunlight can scorch their leaves, while too little light can inhibit flowering. They generally prefer high humidity and moist but not waterlogged conditions. You should allow the potting medium to dry out slightly between waterings. Orchids are sensitive to temperature changes. Tropical orchids usually thrive in warm conditions. Dracula orchids are a fascinating and unusual genus within the orchid family. Genus Dracula consists of over 120 species, primarily found in Central and South America. Some species of Dracula orchids are commonly referred to as monkey orchids because their flowers bear a striking resemblance to monkey faces. The gold of Kinabalu orchid is an endangered species of orchid that can only be found in one small fenced off area in the Kinabalu National Park in Malaysia. It takes 15 years for this orchid to grow and bloom, living up to its rare nature. This extremely rare flower costs up to $6,000 for just one stem. Shenzhen Nongke orchid, a man-made flower, costs up to $2,90,000. It was developed by Chinese agricultural scientists and named after Shenzhen Nongke University. Grammatophyllum speciosum has many common names: queen of orchids, sugarcane orchid, tiger orchid, and giant orchid. It is reputed to be the largest orchid in the world. Full-grown flowers of tiger orchid can grow to have a diameter of around 10 centimeters. These orchids are believed to scare away predators, being shaped like tigers. It is a rare orchid. They are native to new tropics, Central America, and Southeast Asia. The clump of tiger orchid weighs 2 tons. Its inflorescence is as long as 2 meters and it bears up to 40 to 80 flowers on each long inflorescence. In India, they bloom at Kerala's Jawaharlal Nehru Botanic Garden. The ghost orchid is leafless, but it has photosynthetic roots that allow it to produce sugars in the presence of sunlight. Its roots engage in a symbiotic relationship with a type of fungus that help it gather nutrients in exchange for extra sugars. It has scales instead of leaves. The ghost orchid is what's known as a leafless orchid since its leaves have been reduced to scales and mature plants seem to lack foliage. They are rare flowering plants that rely on extremely sensitive wetland habitats and are only known to live in South Florida and Cuba. Colombia is rich in orchids. It is the richest in the world with nearly 4,270 species known. China, a country hosting over 1,700 of the world's roughly 30,000 orchid species, the orchid industry has witnessed substantial growth fueled by advancements in science and technology. Arunachal Pradesh is known as the orchid state of India and the orchid paradise of India because it has around 622 orchid species, which is about 40% of the country's orchids. Orchids can be propagated in a few ways, including by seeds, tissue culture, vegetative propagation, and in vitro culture, etc. Propagating orchids through seeds. Growing orchids through stem cuttings. Growing orchids from leaves. Propagate orchids with water. Propagating orchids through tissue culture. Dividing pseudobulbs is a quick way to propagate orchids because the new plant already has roots. Some orchids are used as medicinal plants and some are used as spicing and flavoring agents. The most popular flavoring agent vanilla is extracted from the pods of Vanilla planifolia. Vanilla flavored food items. In some countries like China, dendrobium is used as a source of tonic, astringent, analgesic, and anti-inflammatory substance. Orchids like Dendrobium moniliforme and Phalaenopsis javanica are used in perfumery. Orchids are sought after flowers for flower arrangements. I hope you found the video on orchids interesting. Thank you for watching and wish you good day.